Part 1. The hidden weakness behind I just want to be understood. If you need everyone to understand you, you don't understand yourself. A lot of young men say the same thing. No one gets me. They misunderstand my intentions. I just want to be understood. That sounds reasonable. But if your emotional stability depends on being understood, you are not strong. You are dependent. There's nothing wrong with clarity. There's nothing wrong with communication. But there is something deeply unstable about needing validation to feel grounded. Here's the psychological truth. The need to be understood often hides the fear of being alone with your own position. If you're solid internally, misunderstanding does not shake you. It might irritate you. It might inconvenience you, but it does not destabilize you. When misunderstanding feels unbearable, that's ego fragility, because the ego wants alignment between self-image and public image. It wants to control perception, but perception is not yours to control. You control your actions. You control your character. You do not control interpretation. The more you try to control how others see you, the weaker your inner structure becomes. Why? Because you outsource identity. You let other people confirm who you are, and if they don't confirm it, you feel threatened. That's not confidence, that's dependence disguised as self-expression. A strong man can explain himself once. A dependent man explains himself repeatedly, not because he loves clarity, but because he cannot tolerate distortion. From a Stoic perspective, this is simple. If it is not within your control, it cannot be the foundation of your stability. Other people's understanding is not within your control, so if your calm depends on it, your calm is unstable by design. In the next part, we'll go deeper into recognition addiction and why the ego craves being understood more than it craves truth. Part 2. Recognition addiction and ego fragility. Recognition addiction is subtle. It doesn't always look like chasing praise. Often it looks like defending your narrative, correcting every misunderstanding, explaining your motives in detail, wanting your side to be seen. The problem is not communication. The problem is urgency. If you feel urgent about being understood, ask yourself why. At some point, being misunderstood likely felt dangerous. Maybe misunderstanding meant punishment. Maybe it meant rejection. Maybe it meant humiliation. So your system learned, if they don't understand me, I lose safety. That belief becomes structural. And now, as an adult, you still react as if misunderstanding equals threat. That's not strength, that's unresolved adaptation. The ego hates ambiguity. It wants clean identity, good guy, competent man, rational thinker, strong leader. When someone questions that image, the ego flares up. It says, they don't see who I am. This isn't fair. They're wrong about me. Maybe they are. But here's the Stoic correction. Whether they are wrong is secondary. What matters is this: can you remain stable even when they are wrong? That's autonomy. If your stability collapses under misinterpretation, you are not sovereign. You are externally regulated, and external regulation is weakness. Young men especially fall into this trap. They want to prove themselves, to be recognized, to be acknowledged, to be seen accurately. But the desire to be recognized can quietly turn into dependence. You start measuring your worth by reaction. Approval increases your confidence. Criticism decreases it. That's volatility. And volatility is not masculine strength. Masculine strength is internal anchoring, not stubbornness, not emotional shutdown. Anchoring. You know who you are. You act in alignment with it. And you accept that not everyone will see it. Without resentment, without collapse, without endless explanation. In the final part, we'll define what inner autonomy actually looks like and how to build it deliberately. Part 3. Inner autonomy. Strength without audience. Inner autonomy means this: your identity is self-defined, not crowd-confirmed. You act according to your principles, not according to perception. This does not mean isolation, it means hierarchy. Your relationship with your own conscience comes before your relationship with public opinion. Here's how that is built. First, separate clarity from approval. Speak clearly. But once you've spoken clearly, release the need for agreement. Agreement is not a requirement for integrity. Second, tolerate being misjudged. This is where most men fail. They want respect immediately, but respect is not forced through explanation. It is built through consistency, and consistency requires patience under misinterpretation. Third, stop over-explaining. Notice when you're explaining to inform, and when you're explaining to soothe your ego. If the explanation is for clarity, it's brief. If it's for validation, it's repetitive. Learn to say less. Let actions mature your reputation. Fourth, anchor worth internally. Ask yourself, if nobody praised me for this, would I still do it? If the answer is no, your motivation is external. External motivation fluctuates. Internal conviction stabilizes. Fifth, accept that misunderstanding is inevitable. Not everyone shares your context. Not everyone shares your standards. Not everyone shares your depth. That is not tragedy. That is structure. You do not need universal understanding to stand firm. You need internal coherence. And here is the final truth. The less you need to be understood, the more powerful you become. Because your energy is no longer spent negotiating perception, it is invested in action. And action builds quiet authority. Quiet authority does not demand validation. It doesn't panic under criticism. It doesn't crumble under misinterpretation. It stands. That is psychological maturity. That is Stoic strength, not controlling perception, controlling response, not chasing recognition, building character. And when your inner state does not depend on external agreement, you are free, not loud, not defensive, free. If this challenged you, good. Growth often begins where ego discomfort appears. If you want more content like this, direct, philosophical, and focused on real inner strength, you can follow this channel. New videos will continue exploring autonomy, discipline, and character. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.